Thank you very much. I'll ask Concorda. Like all other speakers, I welcome Jim and Lucia and their daughters to the distinguished visitors gallery here this evening. I'm very glad that Minister O'Callaghan has made that apology on behalf of the state. It was overdue, and Minister O'Callaghan's words were very clear in regard to the terrible injustice that was done to the O'Farrell family, and of course with the tragic loss of life of their son. A son killed by a person who should not have been at large at that time in 2011. Minister O'Callaghan, as did other speakers, outlined the litany of criminality that particular individual who took Shane's life was involved in. He'd been before so many courts, north and south, a litany of criminality that unfortunately then led to the loss of life of a very fine, young, talented individual coming from an excellent family. The Minister and other speakers, as did you at Concorda, outlined in detail the huge amount of work that the O'Farrell family, particularly Lucia, had done herself in itemising what had happened, in doing that research, outlining with great clarity the sequence of events, the sequence of criminality, and how the state had failed Shane and failed her family as well. Like many other members of this House, I met Lucia and her family on many occasions, and I still remember in her own house when she outlined in detail the sequence of events, the sequence of the non-appearance of this particular individual in courts, both north and south. It was that absolute clarity with absolute detail down to the finest, and I'm glad that Minister O'Callaghan recognised that in his contribution here this evening as well. As Concorda, you will recall yourself, Deputy O'Callaghan, myself, having many conversations over the years in regard to the need to have the concerns of the O'Farrell family dealt with in the proper way. Unfortunately, it has taken a considerable length of time to get to this position today, but the Minister's statement is very welcome. And I just, like others speakers, contributors in this debate, again record the great grace and dignity in the way that Lucia and her husband and their daughters went about campaigning, about putting the truth before all of us and outlining, again with absolute clarity, the litany of convictions, the litany of criminality, and how the state had failed Shane. I take the opportunity to say what Lucia and all the family have done, they've done the state a great service in what has to have been awfully difficult circumstances to campaign for justice for a son who was taken away so wrongly by a criminal who should not have been at large at that time in our country or in any other country. Thank you, Concorda.
Thank you, Dr. Smith.